get to extraction.
For absolutely no reason whatsoever, we're going to talk about Mag again. We're here in the Simulacrum with Mag. Okay, so we're going to summon some corrupt heavy gunners. We're also going to do one more thing. Well, let's do this. And just like that, no armor. Even in Steel Path shenanigans. Especially in Steel Path shenanigans. And with these unarmored corrupted heavy gunners, my Paris Prime pretty much shreds through all of them. Now let's actually fight them with armor. Chuck them in a magnetized bubble. Of course, also Mag has some abilities that are very, very useful. For example, those magnetized shards. Pull them to me. Put them in a magnetized bubble, put those shards into that magnetized bubble, and we start getting a whole lot of slash procs. A lot of enemies are getting a lot of slash procs, like so. Some enemies are actually now parazonable, so we might as well do that. Just like that. I think that should be everything. Oh, one more thing. We're going to look at the Synoid Gammacor. We're going to look at using the Synoid Gammacor as a way to prime enemies up. So I need 2 kills. Alrighty. Oh, I got... Boom, just like that. These enemies are still more or less fully armored. Just like that. What an incredible way to do just way too much damage. Let's have a look at some builds real quick. We have the Mag build. My beloved natural quadra augment Mag with 9 former. Enemy radar is a great aura. We have prime sure-footed, which means I never get knocked down, which is fantastic. If you are in a Nairu main, then you don't need this. Just keep that in mind. Equilibrium, I will explain this a little bit more when we get to my cat. Prime continuity for some extra duration. This is of course paired with multi-efficiency, so as long as I have shields, I will have an additional 36% duration as well. This is all to counteract with fleeting expertise, which is taking out a lot of my duration. We're using stretch as well for more range, and then of course 1, 2, 3, and the 4 augments. And the reason why we have all 4 of these augments is so that we can actually use the entirety of Mag's kit to its maximum potential. And that is the reason why we want duration on Mag. Once again, duration on Mag is great for the use of catapults and to some extent also fracturing crush, being able to just keep them more or less still for an additional amount of time. And the reason why we can use duration on Mag is because magnetized discharge is an augment that allows us to basically manually discharge our magnetized bubble, so that's what's going to be really, really good. Of course, something that also popped up during my demonstration was Arcane Aegis. It's a very, very strong arcane if you want to use a shield-based warframe such as Mag. On top of the Mag build itself, we also have the Archon shards. I have a red shard that is Tau Forge for more ability duration. I have an amber shard that is for additional particle velocity, because I have another amber shard that's giving me some casting speed on top of a regular amber shard that's giving me casting speed. So that on top of fracturing crush is making my crush just become super duper fast. And then I have another Archon shard, a crimson one, for ability duration. So basically ability duration times 2, casting speed times 2, and particle velocity, because why not? Alright, let's have a look at the Paris Prime build. We have here the Paris Prime build. Actually, I wonder. I'm off by 3, you bastard. Okay, so we have Galvanized Scope, really, really good crit chats mod. We have Galvanized Chamber, pretty much a staple multi-shot mod if you have this particular one by now. Otherwise, we are going for viral damage with rhyme rounds instead of prime cryo rounds because I don't want to put another former on this build. There's way too many former as is, but I could potentially do that one day. Paris Acrylicata with that extra crit chats damage and crit damage as well as a negative status chats, which is memeable, but when we get around to talking about the Incarnate tree, you can see that is why the negative status chats is actually not a problem at all. I still have 187.4. Galvanized Aptitude for some additional status chat. I believe this actually almost negates my Paris Acrylicata, so that's probably why. As well as additional damage based on the amount of status types are affecting the target. That's where the Synoid Gammacor is going to come in. Vital Sense for more critical damage, Prime Shred for fire rate and punch through because that's always pretty good. Longbow Sharp Shot is what I'm using, and I'm off by 3. So I'll make a video on that someday, but I'm off by 3. And Visage Ball, which is why I'm able to heal just by shooting this bow. What an incredible weapon. It truly covers everything. Damage, 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 and healing. On top of that, of course, we have the Incarnate form, which is what I was using in order to do tons of extra damage. We have Guardian's Might, which I'm using to increase my damage by a bunch and also increase my damage by an even bigger bunch if I have overshield. So that's where, of course, Crush comes in as well. We have Swift Deliverance for additional projectile speed. Honestly, just out of those 3 options for Evolution 3, this one seemed to be the most useful. And then, of course, I'm using Elemental Balance, which increases my base status chats by 60%, which is why I have such a ridiculously high status chats at 187.4. Even with my Riven taking out 95% status chats. 95% of my base status chats, that is. Let's have a look at the Synoid Gammacor now. We have the Synoid Gammacor. And I've basically talked about this in my best primer video, so I'll just go through this really quickly. This is a build that does no damage. We are basically trying to get status chats, status chats, status chats, status chats, status duration, because why not? And this Riven exists exclusively to give me more status chats. On top of that, some additional fire rate. Add some additional fire rate. Add some additional fire rate. That's basically it. Oh, I'm sorry, this is actually fire rate, not status chats, lol. Because we're using secondary encumber. On a status effect, which happens every single time it actually lands a hit, there's a 24% chance to trigger a second random status effect. That is why we're able to basically coat enemies in all of the status effects with just one weapon. And that is really, really good. And then on top of that, I figured I might as well make my beam last a little bit longer through the use of Ruinous Extension. So that's really, really good. And finally, we also have to talk about the cat. Tieria Ada is a Panzer Vulpaphyla, which means when she dies, she comes back. It's that simple. Basically, the reason why I was using something like Equilibrium is because Synth Deconstruct will produce health orbs randomly, but also Synth Fiber will absorb health orbs randomly, which in turn will give me energy. So that's of course going to be really, really useful. So basically relying on this is how I am using Equilibrium to its maximum potential. If you decide to play a dispensary build, then this is going to be even stronger. Otherwise, the rest of this build for my Panzer Vulpaphyla, I mean, it basically is just additional ability duration so that Viral Quills sticks around for longer, I guess. Martyr Symbiosis is better, I guess. I don't know. Panzer Devolution, I'm not sure if this actually screws over my Panzer Devolution. I haven't really put a whole lot of thought into my Panzer Vulpaphyla build, honestly. Otherwise, Fetch is a staple mod. Shelter is decent from what I've experienced anyway. Link Shields because I'm using a shield-based Warframe. Prime Animal Instinct is just a fantastic mod to have on your cat. That's pretty much it. The power of Mag in the palm of my hand. Once again, this is, in my estimation, Mag is the strongest WarFrame in the game. The Paris Prime is now, in my estimation, especially in my hands, the strongest weapon in the game. Synoid Gammacor, and basically every status weapon really, is now the strongest primer in the game thanks to something like Secondary Encumber. I really enjoy this loadout. It's the reason why this is the loadout that I keep playing. If there is a loadout that you are interested in, well, keep in mind now the Simulacrum has Steel Path support. So you can test that out as well and see if there's anything lacking. Or maybe if you're actually doing missions, which is what you should be doing, and you find that something's a little bit lacking, you now have something that you can test against to see if some sort of improvement that you've somehow managed to find is actually doing better. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. What do you think about the Steel Path Simulacrum? Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, hope you guys enjoy this. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more WarFrame content, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.